April 2026 just logged more tornado reports than most full calendar years, and we still have 8 months to go. Right now tonight, a 28-degree hard freeze is locking down cities from Omaha all the way to Pittsburgh in the first week of May. And somewhere in Memphis right now, a grandmother named Dorothy is checking her weather app for the third time in an hour because Tuesday is coming. She still does not have a shelter plan, and that right there is exactly why we need to talk today. Stay with me because at the 7-minute mark, I will show you something building in the Pacific Ocean right now. That signal will shape every storm, every heat wave, and every drought you experience for the rest of 2026. And I promised you something good at the very top, real good news, so make sure you stick around for that. I will be straight with you. I have been staring at these models since before sunrise, and there is one number that keeps stopping me cold every single time. But first, let me give you the real picture of what is happening right now, because most folks have no idea how many different stories are unfolding at once. Good Lord, what a stretch! From April 22nd through April 30th, this country went through one of the most relentless, severe weather sequences in modern memory. Hundreds of tornado reports, multiple moderate risk days, and a 700-mile corridor of storms that did not sleep for 48 straight hours. A 40-year veteran forecaster said publicly he had never seen 5 consecutive enhanced risk days locked over the same geography in his entire career. April 2026 has already logged more tornado reports than most entire years, and the month's final count is still being tallied. If you are in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, or Mississippi, and you lived through that 9-day stretch, folks, you flat out earned this weekend. I want you to picture someone like Robert, a 67-year-old retired electrician outside Nashville who spent last Tuesday night in his hallway with a weather radio and his 2 grandkids. Robert told his daughter afterward that the sirens went off 4 times before 2 in the morning, 4 times. The kids slept through the first 3. That story is not unique. Tens of thousands of families across the Mid-South lived that exact same night last week, and more nights like it are coming. Now let's talk straight about what is on the board today, because there is still a real risk in place. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk level 2 out of 5 covering northern Florida and southern Georgia this Saturday, May 2nd. Jacksonville, Gainesville, Daytona Beach, Orlando, Ocala, and Tallahassee. Y'all are in a zone where scattered severe thunderstorms are expected through the afternoon and evening. The main concern today is damaging winds, with any organized line of storms capable of producing gusts well above 60 miles per hour. Here's the kicker: an isolated tornado near Cedar Key cannot be ruled out during the most intense squall line passage this morning. That said, this is a stay weather aware day, not a hunker down day, and most of the severe threat wraps up by late afternoon. While Florida deals with that storm threat, something completely different is unfolding 1,000 miles north that most folks south of the Ohio River have no idea about. Freeze warnings are in effect tonight across Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, Nebraska, and Pennsylvania. Temperatures are expected to drop to 28 degrees or lower before sunrise in the first week of May. That is hard freeze territory, not a light frost. Milwaukee, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Chicago, Columbus, all waking up to a May morning that feels nothing like May is supposed to feel. Here's what makes this so unusual. Last year at this same point, parts of the eastern states were in 90-degree heat waves running multiple days in a row. This year we are stuck in the 40s and 50s, with snowfall mixing into areas where nobody expected to see it this late in the season. Plain and simple, this is one of the most unusual early May setups meteorologists have tracked in years, and nobody is ready for how long it lasts. Here's the big picture. Think of the country right now like a kitchen with the oven blasting on one side and the freezer door wide open on the other. Out west, a strong ridge of high pressure is baking the region in warmth. Out east, a deep trough keeps funneling Arctic air down from Canada. Right along the boundary between those two air masses, that is where all the action keeps happening, back to back, day after day. A large low-pressure system between the Great Lakes and Hudson Bay is charging up and dragging a cold front that sweeps Arctic air back into the east starting Monday. When that front slams into the warmth building out ahead of it, the atmosphere has got to release that energy somewhere, and y'all already know what that means. Now here's where I need you to really pay attention, because what is setting up for the middle of this week has some very experienced forecasters genuinely concerned. I am not naming the cities yet. Hear the setup first, but there is a corridor where Tuesday through Thursday could rival anything we saw in mid-April. Tuesday, May 6th, mark it, the jet stream dip amplifies and instability starts building hard across the central and southern plains. The European model has been rock-solid consistent for 2 days storm development firing from Dallas-Fort Worth northeastward through the Cleveland corridor on Tuesday afternoon. Oklahoma City, I know you're tired after last week, and I hear you, but Tuesday's dynamics point the southern plains directly back into play. Wichita, Topeka, Kansas City, all of you are in that Tuesday corridor. Use this weekend to refresh your shelter plan while things are still calm. But Wednesday, May 7th, good grief. This is the one that has forecasters sitting up straight right now. Here's that number I told you about at the very top. On Wednesday, the severe weather corridor could stretch from Michigan all the way back through Louisiana. That is over 1,200 miles of potential impact zone in a single day, and the Storm Prediction Center is now discussing an all-hazard setup for Dixie Alley. Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, y'all are squarely in the Wednesday picture, and all hazards means wind, hail, and organized tornadoes all on the table. Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Little Rock, Wednesday is your day to watch. Have your shelter plan locked and loaded before Tuesday night, not after. Know your safe room, know where the kids will be, have something that wakes you up if sirens do not reach you. That is the whole ball game. By Thursday, May 8th, that instability tracks East Jacksonville, Charlotte, Raleigh. Keep Thursday on your radar as the tail end of this sequence. And whatever part of the country you're in right now, Tuesday through Thursday is not a week to be casual about your weather awareness. The atmosphere is reloading fast, and the window to get your plan squared away is this weekend, not midweek when things are already firing. I want you to think about someone like Carol, a 58-year-old school teacher outside Birmingham who has been through 3 tornado warnings in the past 2 weeks. Carol is exhausted from the alerts, from waking up the kids, from not knowing. But Carol also has a plan, and that is exactly why her family is okay. The folks who come through stretches like this are almost never the ones who got lucky. They are the ones who knew what was coming. Now, real quick, let me give Sunday its proper moment because Sunday, May 4th, genuinely deserves to be recognized. Sunday is your breather, the single quietest back-to-back weather day most of the country has seen since mid-April. And after everything this nation just went through, that is earned. The sky is going to be beautiful across most of the country. Take the family out. Fire. Do me a solid, though. Check your local forecast Sunday evening before you turn in, because Monday is when the atmosphere starts loading again. For the gardeners and farmers watching from the Midwest and Great Lakes tonight, hear this clearly. One hard freeze night at 28 degrees undoes weeks of spring growth. Cover your vulnerable plants before. And go knock on your older neighbor's door. A cold snap in May catches a lot of elderly folks completely off guard, especially those living alone. Now let's swing south to the Gulf Coast because the story down there is completely different and every bit as serious in its own way. Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and New Orleans have all been dealing with heavy rainfall and flash flood conditions for days, with more on the way. Turn around, don't drown. 6 inches of moving water knocks a full-grown adult off their feet. 2 feet carries away most vehicles. Do not test it. The flooding across southeast Texas and coastal Louisiana is not a sidebar today. For a lot of families in those areas, it is the main event. All right, here's the moment I promised you at the very top of this video, and this goes well beyond just this week. The El Niño index just hit positive 0.6, and forecasters are now saying out loud publicly that we are literally on the verge of full El Niño status. Now, I want to be straight with you. This is not just a number on a chart. A massive Kelvin wave has already crossed the Pacific Ocean and is reinforcing sea surface temperatures near South America right now as we speak. When that wave resurfaces, it turbocharges El Niño development. The Climate Prediction Center is putting summer 2026 probabilities at some of the highest values in years. Here's what that means in plain language. El Niño rewires the entire jet stream, the storm track, and the heat season across all of North America. Think about what this spring has already been: cold air on one side, Gulf moisture on the other, crashing together without letting up. El Niño amplifies exactly that. It does not soften what is coming. It turns up the dial on ingredients that produce entire seasons of extreme weather. The summer 2026 outlook is pointing toward above normal temperatures across much of the country, especially the southern and eastern states. The analog year matching our setup most closely is 2023, which ended in a historically brutal heat season along the Gulf Coast and across the southeast. And here's the part that stops me cold. The severe weather window does not close when May ends. An active El Niño keeps all the ingredients on the table well into June and July. Tornado Alley does not get a summer vacation this year. We are exactly 31 days from June 1st, the start of meteorological summer. 31 days. That is your window to refresh your shelter plan and make sure everyone in your household knows what to do when a warning drops at 2 in the morning. Nighttime severe weather is the most dangerous kind, and this season has already proved it is not handing out comfortable daytime-only events. For mobile home residents anywhere across the southern or central plains, I am talking directly to you right now. A mobile home is not safe in severe thunderstorm conditions. Full stop, no exceptions. Get your off-site shelter identified this weekend. Looking ahead toward mid-May, let me give you the straight, honest picture because the models are not fully in agreement. The European model hints at a pattern flip with the ridge rebuilding into the east around May 13th through 15th, but the GFS is not buying it. When major models disagree this significantly, I am not going to stake a forecast on one of them. Here is what we do know for certain. Temperatures across the eastern states are running 10 to 20 degrees below normal, a historic departure for early May. While your calendar says May, the thermometer in Detroit and Chicago reads more like mid-March. That gap between cold east and warm west is the engine driving all of this. Here is how mid-May plays out for different parts of the country, so you know exactly what to watch for in your area. For the Deep South Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, a new system builds midweek next week and brings more heavy rainfall and storm threats eastward. By May 12th, the Carolinas and the Virginia coast come back into the picture, followed by another cold front dragging mixed precipitation through West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. For the Northeast New York, Connecticut, New England, low pressure near New York City midweek brings storm action that has been staying just out of reach this week. And the thing that genuinely blew my mind on this morning's model snowfall mixing into the Great Lakes in the second week of May is not off the table. Snowfall mid-May, Great Lakes, folks, that is not normal. That is not anywhere close to normal. Here's the bottom line for what every American family needs to do this weekend, and I am keeping this flat out straight. Here's the bottom line for every American family this weekend, and I am going to keep this flat out straight. No excuses. If you are in the Midwest or Great Lakes under freeze warnings tonight, cover the plants, protect the pipes, and check on older neighbors. If you are in Southeast Texas or coastal Louisiana dealing with flood conditions, turn around. Don't drown. No destination is worth it. If you are anywhere from Oklahoma City through Nashville through Charlotte, your window to get your plans squared away is this weekend, not Tuesday night. Now here's the genuine good news I promised you, and I mean this, it is real, not me trying to end on a warm note. Once the Tuesday through Thursday severe weather sequence clears, the modeling shows a quieter stretch settling in around May 10th through 15th. 5 to 7 days of calmer conditions after what April just handed us, folks. That is genuinely welcome news, and we could all use it. Let me leave you with this because it matters more than any single storm or model run. We started this video with 3 numbers more tornado reports than most full years, 28 degrees in May, and a 1,200-mile severe weather corridor this week. None of those are normal, none are random, they are pieces of the same story, and El Nino at positive 0.6 tells us that story is nowhere close to finished. I think about Robert in Nashville with that weather radio in his hallway, I think about Carol in Birmingham, exhausted but ready, and I think about Dorothy in Memphis checking her app one more time tonight, wondering if Tuesday is going to be one of those nights. Dorothy and everyone out there like her deserves better than a push notification at midnight. That is exactly why we do this every day. Do me a solid right now if you know somebody in Memphis, Birmingham, Jacksonville, Nashville, or anywhere in these impact zones, send this to them today. A heads up from someone they actually trust is worth 10 alerts they will swipe away without reading. And one more thing, drop your city in the comments and tell me what the sky looks like where you are right now. If your area ends up in a warning zone this week, I will come back with a specific breakdown for your location. That is a promise. We are tracking every development this week, the freeze tonight, the Florida and Georgia threat today, and every step of the Tuesday through Thursday reload. Turn on your notifications so you do not miss a single update. This atmosphere is not going to give you much warning before it gets going. Stay weather aware out there, take care of the people around you, and we will see you in the next one.